Oh,
I've just started the recording then.
Best behaviour then.
that means you can't blow your nose, Tony.
Thought we'd start off with have a look at some of the lunar images taken by members of the group. And there's actually quite a lot of them in different types. So we'll have a look at those first. This one is by Mike Burton, who I've not really met, but it's actually a pretty good photograph. You can see how sharp the craters are at the top of the moon picture here, taken with a Pentax DSLR camera. He doesn't really say whether it's been stacked or anything like that, but I thought that was a pretty good photograph.
Brilliant.
And there's one of Tony's. Oh, stacked in affinity. Tony, was this was this completely stacked in affinity and processed in it? Was it?
Yeah. It were 12, yeah, 12 images, it says there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that were just with the camera as well. That were just with the camera and a lens.
Yeah. Is that a mirrorless camera?
It is. R5 is a mirrorless camera, yeah. And it were a 500 lens with what they call an extender on.
Right.
Yeah.
This is
somebody else. Oh, that's mine as well, yeah, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
That's your
1.4.
mineral moon photograph with the same camera.
That were a little bit of you can manipulate things slightly in affinity. You can change the you can bring out the colours. Of course, if you're using a colour camera, of course you can bring out the mineral type looks.
That's effectively a boost on the colour and the saturation, I assume.
Yeah, it is. It is, Dave.
Okay. Oh, that's just a quick one. I did it a long time ago with the moon balancing on the Lake District. That's one of Nick's picture with the Sea Star. No, I'm not sure. Is that the Sea Star S30 or the S50?
That will be the S50. That was probably one of the first ones I ever took, I think.
Right. And here's one of Neil's pictures. I think he did some video earlier this year.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, 5-minute video.
So that's been captured with the SharpCap. The video's been captured with the SharpCap program and then stacked in AutoStack using this QHY camera to video the moon to start with. I thought that had come out pretty well.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's nice. Is that? It's.
Oh wow! Yeah, I like that one.
There's another one. I think there was quite a lot of wobbling and turbulence in the atmosphere of seeing on this particular occasion, and I think Neil's taken the best 35% frames to stack from this particular video.
Yeah.
There's another of Tony's. This is with the ASCAR FRA 300 telescope.
Yeah, I did a similar process to Neil there with that one with AutoStack and then Pix and Infinity. I think I threw everything at that. I think I threw everything in kitchen sink at that.
Well worth it.
Was that Tony? Was that a video using the ASI Air, or was that with SharpCap or something?
No, it weren't. It was SharpCap.
All right.
It was SharpCap. Yeah. I haven't tried the ASI Air for a while, for videoing because it never worked out that good. The frame rates really dropped. The frames per second really dropped down. So I don't know whether they've improved it or not yet. I've not tried. I've not tried it in a while.
Right.
My go-to piece of kit is SharpCap for videoing.
Right. I think there are two possible video formats for acquiring the video with SharpCap. One is the .avi format, and the other one, sorry, and the other one is the .ser video format.
Yeah, that's the one I use. Yeah.
One of the hints that was given at the session is to make sure you don't do the debayering in SharpCap. Apparently, that really improves the frame rate if you take the debayering out of SharpCap and do it later
Is that using the .ser format?
using the SER format. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a better technical format generally, isn't it?
That's the
Some
one
limit there, yeah.
that I've. Yeah, I think that's the one that I've researched, and that most people use it. I think.
Again, that in that session, they very strongly recommended using the SER format.
Yeah.
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 That's a cropped image from Tony's previous image to show some of the detail. This crater chain here is the Theophilus crater chain, with this crater here being Theophilus. And to give you some idea of the scale of this, the diameter of this crater here is about 60 arc seconds, approximately 60 arc seconds across the crater there. So it's maybe a little bit bigger than Jupiter.
It's quite a lot of detail then.
This is one of Matthew's images from a long time ago using a Skywatcher telescope. I think that's probably on a Skywatcher mount as well. That's quite a sort of crisp type of photograph. And you can see the Copernicus and Tycho craters, Copernicus there and Tycho over here.
Pennines there.
It's another of Matthew's. This is with his Altair Astro apochromatic refractor telescope. I think he brought it to one of our workshop meetings.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
So that was a pretty good telescope actually, that one, but it's quite a large telescope. And then
A lot of detail, isn't there?
yeah. And that is a cropped picture of one of his photographs, again showing the Theophilus crater chain. You can see
That's
the
nice.
amazing detail here.
Yeah, that's lovely, that, isn't it?
That's the Theophilus again. I think isn't this I think it's can't remember what it's called now. There's some kind of cliff or cliff edge along here on the moon. Is it the Rupes Altai or something like that? You can see it along here.
I wouldn't be able to help you there, Julian. My favourite place or area of the moon is the Apennines. Is that how you pronounce it? Apennines.
So this is another of Matthew's photographs. This time it's taken with a Takahashi Muon telescope, which is an unusual telescope actually. It's a dull Kirkham design of telescope, which you don't come across very often.
What's the difference? Why is it unusual?
Well, there are quite a lot of people use refractor telescopes or Schmidt-Cassegrain telescopes or Newtonian reflector telescopes, but there are one or two quite rare ones that people don't often use, and it just happens to fall in that category, really.
Right.
So I've never actually seen one.
I think the Dal Kirkham is more towards astrophotography rather than visual, to be honest.
Right.
Is it similar to a I'm trying to think the right word. The type of telescope you've got with the glass corrector on the front.
It is, yes, yes.
This picture is taken by Robin using Celestron CBC 1100 telescope, which is quite a large telescope, but with a smartphone adapter on the end of it rather than an normal astronomy type of camera. So there's a few snaps of that one. So the resolution is quite good with this telescope because it's quite a large diameter telescope for this particular one. That's a few more snaps from his pictures. Actually, while we're on this subject, quite often the quality of lunar imaging is often dictated quite strongly by the seeing conditions. You know, if you look at the moon on different times and different dates, the seeing conditions make a huge difference to the clarity of what you can photograph with almost any technique. But one thing that can, at least theoretically, improve the clarity is to use an infrared filter. And some people do that, and it's only going to work if the camera is sensitive in the infrared or can actually receive the infrared. But the wavelengths of light round about 685 nanometers, which is a very deep red color. Some people use an infrared filter, which is a pass filter, which only allows wavelengths longer than 685 nanometers to pass through the system to the camera, and that can to some extent compensate for the effects of seeing. But I'm not sure how many people actually use it because it does restrict the colors very sharply to the red and the infrared, and it has to have the right type of camera.
Most of the Astro cameras nowadays have got a built-in infrared filter, I think, Julian. You know, the dedicated cameras.
Right. You'd have to know the exact characteristics of those,
Yeah,
wouldn't you?
you would, yeah.
This is one of David's photographs from the Dwarf 3 Smart Scope. I think that was taken quite a long time ago.
That was taken early last year, just after I got the telescope.
Yeah.
So about February last year.
It's nice, isn't it? Have we compared the Dwarf 3 with these Sea Star ones? You know, we seem to be leaning more towards a Sea Star than the Dwarf 3 for some reason.
See, I don't think there's any particular bias really, but
Are they very
there's
similar with the sensors and things like that?
yeah.
But
I mean,
from what I've seen, the Sea Star is even easier to use than the Dwarf is.
Is it? Yeah.
I was when we were at the session earlier in the year, we had the Sea Star and the Dwarf next to each other, and I'd say the Sea Star is even easier to use than the Dwarf is. I thought the Dwarf made it about as easy as it was ever going to be, but the Sea Star is even more so.
And there's this new one come out that
it's got an 8 meg sensor, the same as the Dwarf has, and it has a very similar field of view to the Dwarf. The Dwarf has got a slightly wider field of view than the Sea Star. Well, actually, quite a bit wider field of view than the Sea Star.
right.
I think the Dwarf Mini telescope that's coming out soon is nearly identical to the Sea Star S30. It's almost the specifications are virtually the same.
Mm. Yeah, because again, that's got a different sensor again from the Dwarf 3.
Yeah. Oh, that's one of mine with the Sea Star S50. This is I measured the frame rate for this. It's running at 11.5 frames per second. That one came out a bit sharper actually. This one. That's a bit of a cropped image to show what that looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the Rupes Altai, that cliff along there. That's the Theophilus crater again. So that's the end of that part of the presentation.
Does everyone know we're getting a S30 Pro?
Is that
Yeah.
for you, Nick?
Is it a borrow or a permanent?
As far as I can tell, it's to keep. It's not. They've not gone into production mode yet. They don't do that until February, apparently. So what they've got are a series of prototypes. So I just cheekily asked them if we could have one, and they said yeah. So
Fantastic.
so they've asked for my address, and then they're going to send it. So not just for me to use, obviously. So, but I thought that would be the quickest way of getting it, and then we can decide
Superb,
who
yeah.
wants to use it. There's a bit. I said there's a bit of a not a condition, but they'd like us to give them feedback on it. You know, so
But believe it or not, especially since it's a beta.
sorry.
Especially since it's a beta, they're going to want feedback and articles about it and saying
Yeah.
how it is, etc. You can't blame them for that.
Well, I think Julian did a little blog comparing the S30 and S30 Pro, which is marked on the website. So I thought they wanted some feedback on what we've been doing, so I just copied them into that blog, and also Stuart's article, another one that he'd written for the photography magazine, and they were quite impressed, I think. So and they really liked what you'd done, Julian, and I think that was the what do you call it, the thing that convinced them that it'd be useful for them to send us one to have a play with. So
Well done, Julian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Superb.
Oh,
no,
I
nice
wonder
one.
whether we can get a wedge from anywhere, because that if we could get a wedge, it would be a bit easier to test something
Well,
like that.
we effectively already own a wedge because the bit of equipment that I've got downstairs, and I'm happy to return, includes the wedge, the photography guidance thing.
That should work, David, shouldn't
And a
it?
wedge with it, and that would easily work for anything of that sort of size.
I mean, the other thing, Julian, I've got the C Star TH10. Yeah.
All
If you
right.
want to borrow that, or whoever does the review, if anybody wants to borrow that. And there's 2 of these on the equipment list for the grant as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll be getting those tripods.
Yep.
The
Shall we move on then?
Yeah. I'll tell you about the grant at the end.
Right. I think we'll have a look at AutoStack it next, and then it won't take too long to do that. We'll have a look at that next, I think.
Sorry.
Well, we just run through stacking of a video just to show roughly what it looks like. So we're going to use the video moon video that lunar video that Tony kindly supplied. So it looks, you've got these 2 screens here, but we'll see as we go along how this works. So I'm going to open the lunar video file here. We've got this here to start with. This is a preview, top of preview screen here. We'll come back to the settings in the other half of the screen in a moment. The first thing we need to do is to set an anchor point on this screen in an area where there's plenty of contrast. And you press the control button on the keyboard and then click the left mouse button, which it's not going to do now for some reason.
There you go.
I'm not sure why it's not doing it. Oh, it did it before. Well, I'm not. I don't understand that, I'm afraid. But we'll
What are
move
you
on
doing,
anyway.
Julian? Are you pressing Control and then
Yeah, I don't know whether
mouse?
the zoom might be interfering with it in some way.
Maybe just making it get it into the full screen if you can. You know, the image.
No, it doesn't do. It doesn't work like that. I can assure you, it works normally. It normally puts a green box around the area. You press the
Yeah.
control on the keyboard and just click it, and it does it.
You had
We'll
a
do-
green box appear very briefly whilst you were earlier, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
very brief.
that was something different, to be honest.
All right.
Anyway, we got that opened here. You can actually play the video if you press the play button here, or it should play.
Can you
Try
put the
that.
anchor point on before you've done the? I've never done it that way around, Julian.
Well,
Can you
there's
can
an
you put the
initial
anchor?
anchor point with a green box, and
Right.
then later on we can put all the other
Okay.
alignment points on. So the next thing to do is to tick this box here for surface because it's not a planet. Oh, that was probably because I didn't have it wasn't on surface. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why. So we'll do
You've
it
got it.
now.
You've
That's
got
like
it.
so that I can reset it anyway like that. It was on the wrong setting here. It's on the surface setting there. So we got the surface setting on. You can click the improved tracking, but it'll take longer to do that. But that is worth doing sometimes. Most of these you can use the default settings along here. The next thing you need to do is to click the Analyze button. So you can see it running down here in this screen here. And it's analyzing the quality of the image data like this. So you can see anything above this line here, above the 50% line, is deemed to be good data. So you can see the quality of the data is pretty good here. The next thing we need to do is decide what kind of file we're going to output from the AutoStack program. So you've got the options of a TIFF or PNG or a FIT file. I'm just going to choose the TIFF file here for the moment. And here you can choose various options, either number of frames to stack or the percentage of frames to stack. So because it takes a while, if I make the percentage too high, we'll just take 10% of the frames here and stack those. You could add in extra hits. You could put in 20 there and 30 there and 40 there to compare the final image to see if you prefer a different number of percentage frames stacked. But we'll just try the 10% like that there. There's another box here which says sharpened. If you tick that box, it produces two images at the end. One is the standard version, and the other is a version sharpened in AutoStack. But I have to say I don't really like the sharpened version here. I think it's too
No, I don't.
severe. You
Yeah,
got
it
no
is.
you got no control over it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like that particular one. So we won't tick that one. We now have to go back. So the other screen. And we need to sort out the grid across the moon to achieve the stacking. So you can choose the number of points here, or the size of the grid here, sorry. So we'll just choose one of these. We'll choose one like that for there, the 104 grid. And then we click you can adjust the minimum brightness amount here with this amount here to cope with the various amounts of brightness depending on what the image is like. But we'll leave it set on 15 for the moment. And then you can just place the grid over the moon as the next thing. So I'll click the place AP grid now. And it's put the grid over the moon now. Once we've done that, you can see in this other window here that the stack button is now available. So we can just press the stack button and it'll start stacking 10% of the best 10% of the frames from Tony's video. But it shouldn't take too long. So that should have finished that. So I'll put the AutoStack program down now. I'll minimize it. And hopefully I've opened the folder. This is Tony's Lunar video file. So this AutoStacker has created a new folder right next to it in the same folder. And this is the photograph we've just stacked just now. So that looks all right. The next thing we need to do is we've decided not to do the sharpening in the AutoStack program because it's very fierce and you've got no control over it. So we'll do a little bit of sharpening in a Registax program as the next option to try. What am I doing wrong? I'm doing something wrong here.
I think you've got to click yes first.
Yeah.
At the top in the middle.
So
I
yeah,
keep wanting to point at screen. Me,
yeah,
and
I've got all sorts of zoom menus blocking things at the top of the screen.
yeah.
Yeah, that's better, isn't it? So you can now adjust on the wavelet settings. On the wavelet tab, you can adjust these sliders here to sharpen the image slightly. And there's various different sliders here for corresponding to different scales of size. So if you just adjust the first one a little bit, that sharpened it up a little bit like that. I'm not going to adjust the others because it might mess it up completely, but you can. I'll move that one. See how what that's done
Oh,
to
that's
it.
a big difference, yeah.
So you got to be quite careful how you adjust it. And then you press the do all button, and then you can save the image then. So so that's the sharpened version. And that's the other version. I can see a slight difference between what I don't know whether you can see that. That's the
Better than
sharp
one
one.
I did that, Julian. What are you doing there?
That's the sharp one, and that's the original. Well, that's the one straight out of AutoStack, and
Yeah.
that's the one sharpened with the wavelet in Registax.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about as far as I've got with the lunar imaging, and it gives an idea of what you can do with it.
It might be worth a little mention. You know the type of imaging that we do when we take a video, Julian. It's called lucky imaging.
Yeah.
And basically, what it does, when you pick your percentage of your frames to stack, that has got a bearing on how good your image is going to be. And it's no good, when you looked at the graph of the quality of the images, and there were roughly, I'd say about 35, 40% that were okay images. So it's really no good setting anything that's above 30% anyway, or else you're just going to be putting, let's call them the unlucky images in with them. So you're better off keeping it really like you've done. About 10% is a good number. 10 or 15% is a good number for lucky imaging. Yeah.
There is another feature in AutoStack, I think it actually arranges the video frames in order of quality, and you can actually leaf through them in the preview screen and see the
blink,
difference.
yeah, you can blink through them, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're right in what you say, because I've had some good results with the just the normal camera. Like I said, just taking 10 or 12 images, out of maybe selecting them, visually selecting good images rather than just letting the computer do it.
Right.
Just a quick question. How long a video do you take?
It's about 30 seconds, that's all.
Right.
Yeah, I think I've tried about a minute.
Yeah,
like that.
Up to a minute. If you do a similar technique when you're doing planets as well. If you're doing any planetary imaging, and they say up to a minute for planets.
Right.
But it depends what you're doing, because obviously you've got the rotation of likes of Jupiter to consider as well. So if you did too long a video, of likes of Jupiter, you're not going to get a nice,
wouldn't be crisp, would it?
Red spot. It's the great red spot, isn't it? That they feature on the planet.
Yeah.
While we're here, I think we'd have a quick look at Robin's video that he took with his telescope, because that was rather amazing. It's not a very long video, but it's quite unusual.
Looks like you're in orbit. You can see the air waving, can't you?
And you can get your head, when you see that, you can get your head round why they call it lucky imaging.
Yeah.
Because, the video and the frames in that, some are going to be good, some are going to be a little bit wavy, and, it's... But it's a nice image, nice video, isn't it?
I don't know how many craters we can identify.
Wow, yeah.
To go whizzing past, huh?
The seeing conditions must have been quite good.
Yeah, they look good, don't they? Yeah.
I wonder where he took it from.
He usually goes to Askham Common.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. Not the middle of Penrith, then.
This is quite near Lowther, I think.
Yeah.
That looks like Clavius, the crater at the bottom.
Wow.
Say in that video, you can actually see it boiling, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll stop the recording at this point.